Alright guys, lesson 9 is a super important video because this is a very tough topic even if you were here in class, let alone at home on your own. So my advice would be to replay this, try multiplying it, pause it, replay it, do it again until you get the answers I'm getting. So lesson 9 is an extension of matrices. Now we've already covered how to add them and subtract them and find missing pieces. Today we're going to go over how to multiply matrices. So first we're going to talk about whether a product is possible. And the resulting matrix. So for example, it's all about dimensions. So if I have, so here's an example. If I have two matrices, so matrix A is a 3 by 2, and matrix B is a 2 by 1. Now let's review. Remember, the first dimension is the number of rows. The second dimension is the number of columns. So the first question that I'm going to ask is A times B possible? So can I even multiply these two matrices? Now the only way I can multiply these two is if the two middle numbers are the same. For example, matrix A is a 3 by 2, matrix B is a 2 by 1. If the two middle numbers are the same, then yes, the product is possible. That's the first part of the answer. What will the resulting matrix be? It'll be a 3 by 1. So the two middle numbers answer whether it's possible. The two outside numbers tell you that the answer is going to be a 3 by 1. So we're looking at the two middle and the two outside. Notice I listed A first, then B, and I looked at the two middle, the two on the outside. So let's reverse that. Is B times A possible? Well, if I write B first, I have a 2 by 1, and A is a 3 by 2. These numbers here are not the same, so no, the product is not possible. Okay, so we're going to go over that in our lesson practice. So don't worry if that one wasn't enough, we are going to do more like this. So this is just an example of how I can tell whether I can multiply two matrices. Now let's start in with an actual problem where we multiply them, or if you'd like, we can do, we can go back and forth between lesson practice. So if you'd like, I can jump into the lesson practice and we can practice what we just learned. Let's try that. So lesson practice. Is on page 57, and we're going to try part A. So part A asks us if the following matrices can be multiplied. So they said matrix A is a 5 by 1, and matrix B is a 1 by 4. So I'm going to write them next to each other. So 5 by 1 and a 1 by 4. Since the two numbers in the middle are the same, I would say yes. And it also asked, what are the dimensions of the product matrix? The product matrix is a 5 by 4. So again, the two middle numbers determine that it's yes. The two outside numbers determine the result. So if you want to pause, go ahead and pause and try B, and then you can check back with what I write for part B. So part B, again, you can pause it. Matrix A is a 4 by 7. Matrix B is also a 4 by 7. Now, this one is probably pretty obvious to you, or maybe not, but let's write it out. Can I multiply a 4 by 7? Oh, hold on. And a 4 by 7, look at the two middle numbers. No, because they are not the same. So because these are not the same, the answer is no. So hopefully that's what you got. If not, let's try it one more time. So lesson practice part C. It wanted to know, okay, so matrix A, I believe it says is a 3 by 9. Matrix B is a 9 by 3. So let's see. Can I find their product? A 3 by 9 and a 9 by 3. The two middle numbers are the same. So yes, and the product matrix, believe it or not, is going to end up is a 3 by 3 because these outside numbers. So the middle determine if it's yes, and only if it's yes can I then have a result, which in this case would be a 3 by 3. All right, so moving on, let's go over how to actually, now that we know whether we can, now we're going to go over the how. So here we go. Let's go ahead and multiply. So if I have matrix A, which is a 3 by 2 and a 1 by 3, and I have matrix B, which is negative 1, 1, 0, 2, and they want us to find A, B. So first, I'm going to see if it's possible. I have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So yes, I can do this problem. Now I'm going to set it up. So start with A. So A is 3, 2, 1, 3. And I'm going to stagger part B, negative 1, 1, 0, 2. So notice this is A and this is B. Notice where A is. A is on the left. Now, pay close attention. I'm going to start with a row. So I'm going to start with row 1 in matrix A and column 1 in matrix B. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start. Okay, so I'm starting with row 1, column 1, and I'm going to find their product. You ready? I'm going to do 3 times, I'm going to match their positions. The first number in each is 3 times negative 1 plus the next pair of numbers. So I did the first, now the second, 1 times 1. I'm just going to leave it. I will simplify it later. Okay? I'm going to draw a line so I keep them separate. Now I'm going to do row 1 and column 2. Okay, so then row 1 in A times column 2 in B. So for this next one, remember we already did the first column, so now we're into the second column. I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to multiply the first set of numbers in each one, so 3 times 0, plus, now I'm going to move my fingers to the second set of numbers, 1 times 2. Okay, we'll simplify that later. Now I'm going to move on to row 2. So then, row 2 in matrix A times column 1 in matrix B. So now I've already done this top row. I'm moving on to the second row, and I'm going to repeat the process with the second row. I'm going to multiply it by the first column, then the second column. So let's go over the steps. You choose your first row, multiply it by column 1, column 2. Then your second row times column 1, column 2. So here we go. Use my fingers. I'm going to multiply the first pair of numbers, so 2 times negative 1. I'm going to move 3 plus 3 times 1. So the product of the first plus the product of the second. Now I'm moving on to row 2 in A times column 2 in B. So bottom row, second column, the product of the first two numbers is 2 times 0 plus the product of the second pair of numbers, 3 times 2. And now I'm going to simplify each one. So I'm going to simplify each element. So this first one, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 1. Bottom one is negative 2 plus 3. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 2. Bottom one is 0 plus 6. So that would equal. Now I'm going to simplify each element. So here we go. My final answer, I'm going to put it in matrix form, is negative 2, positive 1, 2, positive 6. And that is my answer. So this is my product matrix slash answer. So let's try another one together. So number 2. I know this is hard. So matrix A this time is a 2, 3, 4, and here negative 3, 1, 5. So this time I have a 3 by 2, correct? This is a 3 by 2. B is 1, 4, 2, negative 5. So this is a 2 by 2. So find A times B, and that would be 3 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So if I look at the two middle, yes, it's possible, and the result will be a 3 by 2. Okay, so I know my answer is going to be a 3 by 2. So here we go. I'm going to list A first. So again, I'm going to keep it on the left. 2, 3, 4, negative 3, 1, 5. I set it up first, then I put brackets around it. And that's A. And I'm multiplying that by B, which is 1, 4, 2, negative 5. Now I'm going to start with row 1, column 1. I'm finding the product of the first numbers plus the second numbers. So here we go. 2 times 1, minus 3 times 4. Now you can simplify that, and maybe I will for this one, and that's a lot of work for me to write out, right? Because we know 2 times 1 is 2, plus negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Okay, and we're done with that spot. I'm going to draw a column here. I'm now going to do the first row times the second column. So the product of the first two numbers is 4 plus negative 3 times negative 5 is 15. All right, next. I like to organize it with lines. You don't have to. Now I'm doing the second row times the first column. Product of the first two numbers, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 times 4 is 4. Now by the second column, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Okay, last row. So now I'm on to 4, 5. 4, 5 times 1, 4. Remember, we start with the first. So if you need to use your hands, the first number in the row, the first number in the column. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 5 times 4 is 20. Moving on to the next column, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. So I'm going to simplify that. I'm going to simplify each element. So the 2 plus negative 12 is negative 10. 4 plus 5 is 19. 3 plus 4 is 7. 6 plus negative 5 is 1. 4 plus 20 is 24. 8 minus 25 is negative 17. And that is the answer. All right, I'm going to do one more with you. Now, if I asked you to find B times A, I would write a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 2, and I would say not possible. Okay? So, yes, I can find A times B, but I cannot find B times A. So, know the difference. I'm going to do one more with you, and then we'll do our lesson practice for multiplying. So number 3. So I have, I'm going to write this down. A is 5, 0, negative 1, and 3. So that means I know this looks weird. I only have one column, but a column goes second. So how many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it looks weird. And then matrix B, negative 3, 2, 6, 4. Now this has 1, 2, 3, 4, if I'm looking down, columns. If you're looking from left to right, it's only one row. So they'd like us to find B times A. So if I was to find B times A, B is a 1 by 4, A is a 4 by 1. So yes, possible. And product or end result is a 1 by 1. Now that's crazy, that the answer to this is going to be a 1 by 1. So here we go. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to write B first, right? So B, because it's B times A. So B is negative 3, 2, 6, 4. And I'm multiplying that by A, which is 5, 0, negative 1, 3. So I'm going to multiply my row by my column. And since I only have one row and one column, that's why I end up with a 1 by 1. So here we go. The product of the first two numbers is negative 15 plus 2 times 0 plus a negative 6 plus 12, which gives me, you add all of those together, that's negative 21 plus 12, you end up with negative 9. And so my answer is negative 9. So let's jump back to our lesson practice. And this is where you can pause. We're going to jump in where we left off on page 57. Whoops, this should be a 7. And of course my correction tape. Sorry that you can hear my emails. My computer beeps every time I get a message. What's funny is it's probably one of you. Alright, so page 57, we're going to pick up where we left off, which would be D. Find AB if A equals, the first column is 4, 1, 3. The second column is 2, 6, 9. And B equals, and I'm going slow on this one because it's a tougher topic, okay? So try one of these. If you can do it, you're good to go. If you can't, keep working with me in this video. So I have a 3 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So I know that this is possible. So here we go. I'm going to start with matrix A. So matrix A is 4, 1, 3, 2, 6, 9. And I'm multiplying it by B, which is 0, 5, 3, 8. Okay, so remember, we're starting with row 1, column 1. Put your fingers on the first number in the column, first number in the row. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to draw a line down here. Now I'm multiplying it by the next column, so 4 times 3 is 12, plus, point to the second numbers, 2 times 8, 16. All right, now row 2. So row 2, column 1. First numbers are 1 times 0. Next two numbers is 6 times 5, so plus 30. Now to column 2. First two numbers is 1 times 3 plus, point to the second number in each one, 6 times 8 is 48. Last row, 3 times 0 plus 9 times 5. Second column, 3 times 3 plus 9 times 8. So if it helps, you can use the bars. Like I know there's 2 columns, so 1, 2, and I know there's 3 rows. I also know that the result is a 3 by 2. So notice that's why I have 3 rows and 2 columns. So let's simplify each of these. And I get 0 plus 10 is 10, 0 plus 30 is 30, 0 plus 45. So there's column 1. 12 plus 16, 28. 3 plus 48 is 51. 9 plus 72 is 81. And so that is your answer. All right, moving on to E. All right, so I'm working in the dark here. Find BA if B equals, if A, see, this is why I need erasable pens all the time. So E, this is A, part E, and my matrix is 4, negative 2, 10, and B is negative 1, 3, and negative 6. So B is a 1 by 3, and A is a 3 by 1. So yes, I can do this problem, and my result is a 1 by 1. And we did one like that with you. So here's some like shorthand. Since I know I'm doing B times A, I got B, -1, 3, -6. Right, that's B. A is 4, -2, and 10. And I'm multiplying them as we see. Oh, I wrote this backwards, didn't I? B is a 3 by 1, and A is a 1 by 3. So yes, but result is a 3 by 3. So even I make mistakes, make sure I write B first, then A. So here we go. I'm going to draw, I know it's a 3 by 3. So -1 times 4 is -4, and there's nothing to add. So I'm doing row 1, column 1. -1 times 4 is -4. This next spot should be -1 times -2, which is 2. -1 times 10 is -10. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times -2 is -6. 30, -24, 12, -60. So remember, my answer, we already said, is a 3 by 3. So my answer is -4, 2, -10, 12, -6, 30, -24, 12, -16. And that is my answer, a 3 by 3. Okay, I'm going to turn the page. And we're on to F and G, and that's where we're going to stop. So I'm going to go with number F. So F says, is AB equal to BA? They told us A is 4, 2, -2, 0, and B is 1, 4, 0, -2. So the first thing I'm going to do is find AB. So AB would be 4, -2, 2, 0, times 1, 4, 0, -2. So row 1, column 1. 4 times 1 is 4. -2 times 4 is -8. -2 times 0, 4 times 0 is 0. -2 times -2 is +4. Bottom, 2 times 1 plus 4 times 0. 2 times 0 plus 0. So my result is -4, 4, 2, and 0. Now let's find B times A. So in B times A, I would list B first, and then A, which is 4, 2, -2, 0. And I'm going to set it up like this. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 times 0, 0. 1 times -2, and 0 times 0. Next row, 4 times 4 is 16, plus -4, and -8 plus 0. So just looking at it, you guys, I realized right away that if you compare these, no, AB does not equal BA. That is your answer. Now, last problem is part G, and I didn't go over it in notes because it's so easy. So if they ever ask, find AI, and A is your matrix multiplicative inverse, the answer is just the matrix itself. So the answer is matrix A. So I would literally just write A. And they told me that A equals -1, 0, 1, 4, 5, -2, 2, -3, 10. So anytime they add I in there, the answer is just the matrix itself. So I know that was a long video. I know that was really long, but it's a really tough section. In your homework, we're going to skip numbers 1 through 4, 11, 15, 23, and 29. You're welcome.